City Hall is saying that the proposed cuts they have won't hurt the university. I have tiles that fall out of the ceiling in my office. I never know whether or not I'm going to get clunked on the head. Our internet service may or may not work. A couple of months ago, I posted on here about how the president of my college fired 26 full-time faculty members 2 weeks before the semester started. And while that's terrible for the professors, and it's terrible for the students. Students who need to graduate aren't able to take the classes that they need in order to be able to do that. And I know that parents are always asking the question, where does all this money go? Why is higher education so expensive? And higher education, like a lot of other companies, the labor costs are expensive. The top pay for a professor in CUNY is $141,000. Now that's a full professor. An associate professor is about $117,000. That's if you're at the top of the pay scale. And for an assistant professor, it's $99,000. But bear in mind that a one-bedroom apartment in New York City costs $3,100 a month. Those are professors with tenure or are on the tenure track. What has happened is that not just in CUNY, but throughout all of higher education, the universities are trying to eliminate the number of tenured professors and increase the number of contingent, what they call contingent professors. That is adjunct professors who are professors who don't have a guaranteed job from year to year. And because they don't make as much money and they make significantly less money than tenured faculty do, they end up having to teach 4 and 5 classes a semester instead of 2 or 3 classes a semester. And if you're talking about the Ivy Leagues, they obviously make a whole lot more money than we do because we're a public institution and they're private institutions. They also teach a lot less than we do. It's not uncommon for a faculty member at an Ivy League school to teach 1 class a semester or 1 class a year and then just work with PhD students. And while a whole lot of faculty will add up to a big number, the people making most of the money is the administration. These are figures from 2019, so the numbers now are going to be higher. So this was actually an interim president was making $300,000. The current president is making $400,000. The provost is making $250,000, and you can see. So the large money, the bigger salaries are all going to the administration. And it's not just that they have larger salaries and they're increasing those salaries, but they're increasing the number of people that are part of the administration. Several months ago, I talked about there being dirty doings going on in University of West Virginia and how they were cutting classes and they were cutting majors and students weren't going to be able to know whether or not they were going to be able to finish their programs. And what was so awful about what was going on in West Virginia was not that certain programs that weren't doing that well were cut. That was bad in and of itself. But that they decided to cut full-time tenured faculty, which is really unheard of throughout academia. But what I have since found out is the same consulting company that the University of West Virginia used, CUNY is also now using, and they are called RPK Consulting. So if you're not in New York, but your kid is going to college, why does this matter to you? You want to look at the numbers of how many full-time tenure or tenure-track faculty members the university has, not just now, but what has been happening to that number over time. And if it is sincerely decreasing, then that's a red flag. The last thing you want to do is start going to a school and have to transfer. Because one of the things they don't tell you is that the schools have money for freshmen in terms of scholarships. They don't have money for transfer students. The other thing you'll hear me say, and you'll hear me say this again and again and again and again, is what's most important is to look for the school that has the best program for you that you can afford. It doesn't matter necessarily what the name of the institution is as much as what you learn. And it's about, again, the wealth gap, not the wage gap. You also want to look at the graduation rates for the university or the college, and that is on the Common Data Set. And I've done another post about the Common Data Set. But basically what you can do is put in the name of the college, put in Common Data Set, and look and see how many students are graduating. And colleges don't base this on 4 years, they base it on 6 years. So look at their 4-year graduation rate and their 6-year graduation rate, and also look at how many students decide to transfer after the first year. These are all things you want to look for, and it's all things the marketers are never gonna tell you. But I will.